Okay, coaches interview time here, LL Hoops. Matt Johns here, Manheim Township. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us today.
Oh, I tell you what, actually LNP is the one that's done a great job here. What a great setup, huh?
Yeah, we're really excited to have this first media day for LL. Boys, girls are in. Looks like every team in Section 1 is represented. It's an exciting time for all of our teams, and it's an exciting time for the league.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's exciting for us here at LL Hoops. Gives us an opportunity to kind of in a relaxed atmosphere, kind of get an opportunity to talk to all the coaches, get your feel for, the Lancaster Lebanon League in general, but just talk about the fact of that we've had 365 days of normalcy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
No COVID here. How great has that been for you and your team?
Yeah, it's been great not having that hanging over our heads every day when we go into practice. And, if somebody's sick, we're going to manage that, but not worrying that if somebody gets sick, it's going to shut down your whole team. You're going to lose practices. You're going to have to push games. As much as we had a full schedule last year, you still had a lot of things that were uncertain at the start of the year. So it's been nice getting kind of back to a normal rotation, a normal cycle, normal schedule, normal expectations, and worrying about basketball, not worrying about temperature checks and everything else.
Yeah, how beneficial has it been to really have a complete off season as far as just repetitions and chemistry? It's got to be great from a team chemistry perspective.
Yeah, the fact we can get everybody together, we can get we had to teach guys how to use a locker room again because we weren't allowed to use locker rooms for long periods of time. So, on one level, we had to really step back and say, what are the things that we took for granted that we have to make sure we're being purposeful about now? But it's exciting about the fact that we're able to have all the guys together all the time. We don't have to, we're not factoring in those secondary things that mattered. Mm-hmm. They definitely mattered to allow us to continue to do the thing that we love to do. But now we can just really focus on basketball.
Yeah, focusing on basketball. So how many seniors, how many starters you got coming back on the squad this year?
One starter coming back, Sebastian Henson. He was our lead. I don't know if he was our leading scorer or our second leading scorer last year. Averaged a little bit over 12.5 points per game as a sophomore starter. So he's returning to us as a junior. Lost, 6 very important seniors who were part of a Section 1 co-championship team. Mm-hmm. So we're replacing a lot of players. Today we brought Bennett Palmer, who is it's going to be a very important energy, rebounding, tough player for us. Caden Young, we think, is going to slide into the point guard, combo guard position. They played on a very successful JV team for us last year that had a lot of depth and a lot of players that can they can shoot, they can score, they can play. Biggest question for us is, are we going to defend, and how well are we going to defend? Senior wise, Quinn Snyder is returning to us, and Quinn has had a great preseason, so we're looking for important things from him. And then Gavin Glass returned to us. Gavin is a Division I baseball player. He recently committed to West Point, was in our program for several years, was out of the program for a few, focusing on baseball, but he's back. He's bringing a lot of athleticism and toughness to us too.
Wow, that's great. So obviously there's a lot of turnover. Talk a little bit about, how you as a coach are going to try and develop this new chemistry about this new core group of players.
Well, I think one of the positive is so many of them did play together in JV, so it's mostly incorporating that new senior, the 2 seniors, and Sebastian into what's going on. But culture-wise, Jordan Stewart is here today. He's our junior varsity coach. He does a phenomenal job of teaching our system. We practice together every day, so those our younger guys are learning from our older guys, and so it's been pretty seamless when we can plug and play. And some of our junior high coaches, such as TJ O'Gorman and Zach Sheets and Todd Skolnick, from top to bottom, we can bring kids in as they are being developed, whether it's an 8th grader that's making the leap into 9th grade as a JV player, or a 9th grader who we think is going to make a leap and be a JV or a varsity player. They know our basics. They know our foundation. It's really going to be about adjusting to the speed, the athleticism, and the physicality of a different level.
Yeah, it is a different level when they get up to varsity. But for you as a coach, what are some of the challenges that, you try and overcome going into any new season?
Well, I think one of the challenges that we overcome coming into the new season is, lots of guys want to shoot, lots of guys want to score, and you think about what your open gym and your developments are like. Right. You're working on energy. We do some of our foundational defensive drills when we're doing open gyms, but really you're trying to develop skill, and then you're trying to apply that skill when you play. So now all of a sudden, you've been working on your shooting and your ball handling and your passing and you're taking care of all those things. Now it's season time. and we got to start putting all the pieces together. And
Sure.
it's, whether it's team defense, it's individual, the nuances of individual defense that are make and break when it comes to winning. You know,
Sure.
so it's really now zeroing in on, okay, we did the skill development. We're going to continue to do that a little bit, right? But right now it's about team development.
And talk a little bit about, for you, I mean, how do you pace yourself? I mean, the season is long, and obviously you're not only dealing with preseason, but then league play, but then postseason. So how do you, as a coach, and bring that kind of attitude that it is a marathon, not a sprint, to basketball?
Yeah, one of the things that we really look at when when we're doing our scrimmage during practices is saying, what is it fair to hold our guys accountable for? If we haven't drilled it, we haven't worked on it in these first 2 practices, now these first 3 or these first 4, it's not really fair to hold them accountable for that. We can always hold you accountable for energy. We can always hold you accountable for sharing, unselfishness, for team play. But when it comes to the mechanics and the tactics of what we want to do, if we haven't drilled it and we haven't practiced it, we haven't worked on it with them, we need to really take a step back and say, well, we can't just expect them to do that. So, building for that first game. What is it reasonable to have in for that first game? What is it reasonable to have in by Christmas time? That's another really mark for us. And then what do we want to get in over Christmas when we have a little bit more time to practice again?
I tell you what, Matt, thank you very much for a little bit of your time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, and we'll have more coach